I want to record.
Okay, I'll call the City of Sandy Oaks Park Advisory Committee meeting to order. It's October 22nd, and it's not 06. It's 6:30 p.m. I'll get a quorum call here. Thank you. Ann,
Here.
Lou,
Here.
John,
Here.
Charles.
Here.
We have a quorum. There are no, well, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. It's over there.
Pledge allegiance
Pledge
to the
allegiance
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, no citizens to be heard have signed up, so we will move through that one. And the number 4 on the agenda is discuss impossible action on updates from the clearing of the walking trail. So I know that they were out here and cleared some of the brush. And I guess we can use this agenda item to talk about the repair of the walking trail.
The bid, Charles, did you see the bid yet?
No, I didn't.
Charles and I went with Chad, looked over 2 areas that need resurfacing, and the bids just came in from Chad for $2,000 for the work. That's rock, labor, materials and equipment.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
No, I don't think so.
I
either.
calculated 20 yards of material, so you're talking about $100 a yard.
Yeah.
$100 a yard for gravel, leveled, laid, and compacted. Very good
It's a
price.
good deal. So do we have a motion for me to then present this to the council?
I would move that we present this to the council for approval.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries. We won't be able to bring it to Thursday's meeting because it won't be on the agenda. So we'll have to do it the following meeting. I guess the November.
Are you sure about that?
I don't think, it may be on the agenda. Did you put it on? If it's on the agenda, I will,
Well, because of the meeting thing, I did ask Catherine to put some things on,
okay, good.
just because I knew you'd be talking about them, and I said, we can't talk about it if it's not.
Not, yeah.
But let me check real quick.
I was going to look at the Thursday's agenda. In any event, I will present it if it's on this council meeting's agenda on Thursday, and request that they approve the $2,000 to amend those areas of the walking trail that are washed out. 2, I guess.
It is on the agenda.
Okay, good.
It
So
says discuss and or possible action on quotes received for paving the park walking trail.
okay, great. So then I will make that recommendation.
How much money is in our budget?
I didn't hear you.
How much money is in our park budget?
The park budget is $25,000.
25,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Discuss, number 5 on the agenda is discuss and possible action on updates of the distance markers. And I know John has gotten pretty far on that, but can
There's 6 of them. They're at my house. They've been painted. The top 2 feet are painted white, bright white. We're still trying to work out exactly how we want to do the lettering. Would you like to explain what you like, Mayor Ball?
So, he showed me the pictures of what he did. They look really, really good.
yeah, I saw them.
What I was thinking is we would use a reflective paint so that even at dusk, you would still get some, it would reflect some light. John suggested that depending on which direction you start, it would be marked
Back.
the opposite. So if you're starting on this end, it's it's 1/8. It'll be something else on the other side, depending on which direction you're going. I told him I have some stencils at home. Let me see if I can find them, but if not, they're relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, I was gonna look online when we talked about this on Saturday.
We have a 6-inch width, and what I believe we want to do is fraction above, which is distance, and MI period below, written horizontally.
I think this is what we talked about. So
Yeah,
this
I
is your,
think we talked about that on,
this is your post, and here's,
how big do you want the letters?
Well, we have 6 inches to play with, so I'm not real sure. The width of the
so something
the,
like
the
that.
wide side is
Where you
going to
do the
face
fraction at
the
the top.
person on the trail from approach.
Yeah, you could use 3-inch stencils, they're about 2 inches wide, so.
The stencils I have, maybe, they're either 2.5 or 3 inch.
Okay,
And all we need is some spray adhesive to put on there
hold them.
to seal it, and then you just would go over it with the, I think Home Depot sells the fluorescent, or, it's not fluorescent, but it's the
Are you
reflective.
talking about the mark? It's not like the marker orange international.
It comes in different colors.
Yeah, well, that
Yeah.
stuff fades in sunlight, so I'm just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, we can look at it. Or we can go with vinyl letters, I mean, probably vinyl is,
That
May not
won't hold
stay.
up very long, I don't
No, I
think.
don't think, I
the
think
heat
they'll
would
fall off
affect
or get pulled off.
and then if you went with fixed letters, those get pried off, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, paint's the best way to go, I think. They can still scrape it off, but,
Can of paint will last a long time.
yeah.
Stencils.
Exactly.
I think it's a good idea while they're in my driveway, in a horizontal position to do the lettering
Yeah, I agree.
before, rather than
Put
try
'em
to
up.
do it after they're
No, I agree,
vertical.
yeah.
Yeah.
I also, I'm a little concerned, I'd rather Chad finish his work on the trail so equipment doesn't knock them over,
Good idea.
damage them. So we'll wait till Chad's finished before we install them.
Okay,
The installation shouldn't be more than, I wouldn't think 3 hours at max.
right. Now, the other thing I asked John the other day was, he's measured the trail, he's marked the trail, but what about from
There to there.
trailhead to the other trailhead?
We can do that.
It's 1/10 of a mile.
It is 1/10 of a mile?
Yeah, if you, if you start from the end of the trail on the blacktop.
Right,
And drive through the parking lot and drive the thing at 6/10 of a mile complete. If you eliminate the blacktop and just measure it's a half a mile.
Okay.
So,
and that could be something in the future for, like, just information.
We could write a little sign.
Exactly. There at the entrance and the exit of those 2 points.
Okay, thank you, John, for doing all that. And so we'll move on to agenda item 6, discuss or possible action on a method to reserve, schedule the pavilion area. Now, that's a big one, or maybe a complex one, I don't know.
So, we can use the city website. I have not worked with the calendar feature on the website yet, but I'll figure it out. I figured everything else out. It's probably not that hard.
What would we, I guess once it's put in the calendar, and I've had some problems with this before, people, it needs to be locked so that people can't go in and change it, because I've had that
Well,
happen for other,
I agree.
you know.
Well, and my thought was that the calendar would show availability. There would be a form they would submit
Okay, that's
to make the
better.
reservation, and then Catherine or
Could
myself
put it
or
in.
CJ would update the calendar so that it's fixed in that fashion.
Okay, well, that makes sense, so we need to.
And that way you get a time and date stamp in case two people want it at the same time. You can always go with the first one.
Do we need to get furniture first?
What we have available are folding tables and chairs. The white plastic tables, and we have folding chairs. We have plenty of chairs, that's not a problem, if people want to.
Okay, so that's good then.
I mean,
We're
we
covered.
have, yeah, we have that available.
Would we rent them, or would we, because,
Well, that's a good question. So, I don't know, that's what I need you guys to figure out is, how do you want to do that? Are you gonna require a deposit? Is it a different deposit or a fee for residents and not for others?
Yeah, we probably would do
Because it's a
residents for
public
nothing.
park, so therefore it's available to people outside of the city to use.
What about a deposit? And then would it be a refundable deposit if they clean up their mess?
And I think that's kind of what Catherine and
Yeah.
I talked about briefly is, you know, you want people to come have a good time and clean up their mess. The reality is probably doesn't happen always, so it could be a refundable.
Or
I mean,
not?
well, generally a deposit is refundable if the
But you would have to have some
requirements
kind
are,
of contract.
Right.
that
Criteria.
says- Yeah,
if the criteria is met, then
Right.
you get your,
Would there be a charge for using the pavilion?
that's a good question. My thought is, for now, no.
we might do that for somebody outside the city.
We could probably do that. I wish Lou was here to kind of talk through some of that, because he's all about this whole master plan and permits and getting everything in place that we need.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's y'all's call to make a recommendation on what you think.
Well,
My
I
personal opinion
recommend,
is right now, no charge, but maybe a refundable deposit based on some criteria.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
I
I like
like that. And my recommendation is we draft Lou in to come to one of these meetings and let's talk about how they do parks in other cities, because I do know some cities have a use fee per facility.
Yeah, many do.
Some require only a deposit that you clean up your own mess.
Right.
I think we try it with the refundable deposit, see how it goes. We may then amend saying, well, this is a use fee. And if they
But-
want to get chairs, then we have a fee
Right.
for that too.
That's true.
Are there plugs out there?
There is, not on that side of the bathroom wall, but there is power in
permanently
that
anchored over there for
cinder
the
block building
parties.
where the bathrooms are.
Because I'm
So-
thinking like later on for parties, they might want to bring.
Well, and that's one thing that I'm working with Chris on is to, and I'll probably need to bring the engineer in to give us an idea how we could put some lighting out there on that side, you know, in the pavilion area. Maybe we want some fans in the summertime, or, you know, certainly lights at night, being able to plug in music or whatever. So, not right now, but we can
Right.
probably make that happen. Another, when this gentleman came in and when I asked if he was Mike, I did hear from Mr. Hurtado. He's very interested. And
That's a shock in
he's
itself.
just been very busy.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I did call him back and left him a message that we were meeting, so I thought maybe he would show up.
That
Yeah,
was good.
he's not retired like we are.
Yeah, speak for yourself.
Well,
I-
that
I-
would be good if he
I
showed
laugh.
up.
You know, Tom's, how old are you, Tom?
21.
You're 21 and working a 40 hour
56,
job.
I'm 56 today.
I'm 22 and working a full-time job and 3
I'm
meetings
18.
this week.
3 meetings this week.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to get some expertise, but, initially I think, we do not charge a use fee. We do require scheduling
Yeah.
and, we might consult with, people about what kind of security deposit is required for, just a guaranteed cleanup or guaranteed paying somebody to clean it up.
Yeah.
I heard Mayor Tanguman knows somebody to clean up.
Can't afford that person.
Hey,
They're too
as far as the
expensive.
playground goes, that's an issue with, will that be available if people are using the facilities or not?
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I mean,
It wouldn't
really,
be just there.
all they're reserving is just the covered pavilion area.
Right.
The rest of the park is still
But,
open.
okay, but I'm just saying, it's not, it needs to be refurbished, doesn't it, before, I don't know, I guess it's okay as it is.
Well, we're getting to that. That's one of
Yeah.
the
Okay.
items on here.
So for item 6, let me work on the calendar and a reservation form.
Okay.
Do you want to, we don't have it on the Thursday's agenda, which I don't think we need on the agenda to talk about approving a fee or deposit.
I'll talk to the city administrator
Yes,
this week
talk to-
and
talk to
see
him.
what he thinks and maybe some recommendations. Then we could put it down and we talk about it or get it, make a motion to have it. Whatever we come up with, we can
Okay.
amend if we have better ideas and then talk about it at the next meeting,
Cool.
which is next
Has
week.
somebody has the lady that talked about yoga on Sunday mornings, have they?
To my knowledge, nobody has, and I'd like to see some of
What's
that.
that
but we will-
dancing everybody
since it's not on
loves
the
to do?
agenda, we'll wait till we're done with the meeting.
Yeah, we could have Zumba classes out there, couldn't we?
As long as they don't do
Music,
goat yoga.
plug in the- Yeah.
We got rid of the goats, can't do it.
Oh, yeah, but we tread on them all, part of them, all the last couple Saturdays. Yeah, okay, number 7, discuss or possible action on updates on painting the playground equipment. I got 2 quotes, they're widely disparate. I talked to both of these people, they both seemed to know what they were doing. One is $7,280 and one is $3,300. So,
Holy
I mean,
cow.
yeah, I know, that's a big, and they both said they were gonna do the same thing.
Do you have written quotes from them?
I have written quotes, yeah, but there are no specs on them, but I can ask them for those.
Can I take a look at?
Yeah,
I
sure.
think the high one was a little bit over
Just a second, I wanted to.
more work than required. They were a little bit more, we're gonna do this,
That's the
that, and the
same
other, and it was like,
Oh,
well,
I just
okay.
blew it out.
And
We don't
I
need all
couldn't
that.
remember what. the
Another
second one was.
differentiation would be insurance. You know,
Oh, yeah, well, they're
All those-
bonded.
They're all insured and bonded.
Yeah.
Yeah. They both
And
seem
what
like,
kind of
Oh,
warranty
just
that they're gonna offer
ouch.
on the work that
yeah,
they're.
well,
I think they said
talked
2
about
years,
warranty.
right? Did they say 2 years? Didn't I ask that?
I think he did, and I think they did.
So just remember,
But,
this is for Texas Workforce Commission. If it isn't written, it didn't happen.
and that's
Yeah.
what we will do, if we select someone, we'll get specs. I think I ought to go back to these 2 people and have them put in writing warranty and the specs, the paint, and the,
Time.
How long did it take to do the job?
yeah. And go from there, and then, once I get that, if I get them by next week, we'll bring it up again and see if both of those hold up, and then select one if we want to.
I would take
Such a
this
huge
neatly
difference.
tight,
Yeah, it sounds like they're two women.
and I would use this as a spec
Yeah,
sheet and ask them both to bid it again.
Yeah, well, that's
in
what I'm going to
accordance
do.
with that spec, so that we're looking at apples and apples.
right.
I recognized there were no specs on them, but I wanted to bring them forward.
But because we have rusted metal here being primed and, it's missing on this one, and, you know, like this is.
They both
apples
said
and
they
apples.
would prime the rusted portions or
But
de-rust. I know it's
written
not on there.
this, it's not written on that.
Well, there's a lot not written on both of them, but, yeah. I'll get with both of them and have them send in a
Okay.
proper bid.
With their workman's compensation.
Yeah, all
and,
that.
And liability insurance forms.
Yeah, and bonded.
As long as they have general liability and workers' comp,
But,
that's
but,
really all we care about.
yeah, you know,
It's not like they're gonna run off with.
bonding
playground
is,
Well-
you know, if they're handling cash or, confidential material, the bond's required, but, you know, I don't think they're gonna load up the playground equipment, and run away with
You
it.
never know.
2 coats of paint's
They
good.
could steal something else in here. But anyhow, I will get with both organizations and request specs on there, including insurance and warranty information. Any more discussion on that? If there's no more discussion, we'll move on to 8. Discuss and possible action on updates from Go Smart Solar. I got a hold of the guy again, and he said that his firm was not interested because we didn't have the area that they needed. So,
Yeah, I don't think it fits into their business
Yeah,
model that they're
model,
working
yeah.
with right now.
so I guess
Right.
that's out. So if we're gonna look for shade, we need to go some other,
Back with the fabric,
yeah.
the sales
Sales,
shades.
yeah.
Yeah.
So except for that one quote I got for this, the shade, $80,000,
Yeah.
you know, that was ridiculous, but. So I will investigate, maybe getting a
Memphis Net
sale
might
out
have a
there
shade
or,
cloth.
pardon me?
Memphis Net, I've sent you guys some of the
Yeah.
stuff they sent me. Will nursery shade cloth, 70%?
No, I'm talking the same type of material that's on the
Yeah,
pavilion.
I know.
Those people never did get a
I
hold
was,
of
I
it.
was gonna go back through here and get in touch with him and
Okay,
make sure that he does what we need.
I was just asking if nursery shade cloth would work. No? Okay.
I don't know.
I have some I'll sell you cheap. No, I'm just kidding.
So on this topic, the mayor is talking to the people that put up the pavilion, and hopefully we can maybe get a sale in there to provide some shade rather than going the big enchilada and costing 80 grand, which
Yeah,
I think
that's-
was ridiculous anyhow.
How much was the shade over the pavilion?
The shade itself, I don't recall, the whole, the frame and everything was 7,000, just under 7 grand.
So it could be a lot cheaper. The problem with the playground, it had to go up so high, and it had to have a certain clearance.
Yeah.
So that's why a sale would probably be best.
Yeah.
So if there are no further discussion on any topic on the agenda, I will adjourn the meeting at 18:55 or 6:55 PM.
6:55 PM, sounds good to me.
Let me turn this off.
We need to make sure that he gets